Hello and welcome, this is AMECO and you're watching our daily updates live from the studio. I am Gaila Damu, stay tuned. The former Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Ethiopia, AMECO, has been elected as the first President of the Council of the Global Black Center. Modomluye has more.
The Global Black Centers Council convened its first meeting in Addis Ababa and endorsed its organizational constitution that comprises 22 articles. During the occasion, the Global Black Council's first president, AMECO, said that Ethiopia, being the symbol of freedom, beacon of prosperity, and land of origin, deserves to host the Global Black Centers Council.
I would like to highlight the preservation and restoration of African heritage has been given the attention it deserves. Conflicts, lack of due care, and absence of adequate digital technologies are robbing Africans of their heritage.
Acknowledging education as a key tool to the success of Global Black Center's goals, the former Deputy Prime Minister revealed that the center benefits from the active ownership and participation of high-level academicians.
We should design training programs that could have a multiplier effect across Africa. History in Africa has been a controversial subject within and among countries. Educators must take the responsibility of converting African academicians toward an approach that will help Africans in the continent and the diaspora.
Furthermore, AMECO hoped that the Global Black Center would emerge as a desirable platform to advance Black history, culture, heritage, and development. To this end, the President stressed the need for holding an annual conference by bringing together scholars and other dignified personalities.
Therefore, we should organize a colorful annual Black conference every year with the participation of many scholars, continental representatives, head of governments, international organizations, dignified personalities, and all others that share the purpose and objective of our center in its headquarters, Ethiopia.
According to AMECO, panel discussions, debates, exhibitions, artworks, and other pertinent matters will be entertained and exhibited in the annual Black Gathering, and it's anticipated thereby to be a globally flagged legacy of the Global Black Center.
The renowned American economist Professor Jeffrey Sachs underscored that the higher rate of which Africa pays than any other part of the world is blocking its efforts for development. Brown Workna tells us more.
The basic idea of global financial reform is to make sure that Africa can access low-cost, long-term finance.
It was indicated that the likelihood of interest rates staying high in 2024 and beyond presents unique challenges for many African economies. African countries' public debt levels have risen significantly in recent years due to the rapidly increased public spending of respective governments to mitigate the effects of multiple global shocks such as COVID-19 and inflation. In an exclusive interview with INA, Professor Sachs revealed that Africa pays much higher interest rates than any other part of the world. According to Professor Sachs, Africa needs capital, infrastructure, education and natural capital in order to build the continent and get greater economic returns. However, the global financing system is not working right, the economist said.
It should be the fastest growing region of the whole world, but with the interest rate so high, this is what is really blocking a lot of African development.
Thus, the renowned economist stressed the need for reforming the international financial architecture that would allow Africa for access to low-cost and long-term finance. The economist said,
so the basic idea of global financial reform is to make sure that Africa can access low-cost, long-term finance so that Africa can really build the infrastructure for all the modernization that's needed. I'm working on that in my capacity at the United Nations. We're pushing hard. I was very strongly advocating the African Union as the 21st member of the G20. Now we have a G21. Now we have to push very hard for this financial reform.
The African Union currently expressed its commitment to accelerate the establishment of its own financial institutions to address the existing challenges of the current global financial architecture that doesn't favor Africa's transformation and development needs. The push for Africa's financial institutions is expected to improve Africa's access to capital, impartial debt management mechanisms, and fair credit and risk assessments. In his capacity at the United Nations, the economist added that he is working on the agenda, pushing hard on other international financial institutions for this financial reform. The economist also criticized the rich countries that have not kept their promises, saying that they talk a lot but they don't really deliver.
That's why we need Africa at the negotiating table to say, you have to deliver. There were so many promises on climate finance, so many promises on getting the debt structure to make sense. Very little was done.
Noting that the real negotiation is paramount, the renowned American economist stated that now this talk has to end and we need to take action.
On its 80-year anniversary, experts hailed the Ethiopian Archives and Library Service as a treasure trove of national wealth and knowledge, building a legacy that spans generations. Ranu Yismail tells us more.
Marking the occasion, the Ethiopian Archives and Library Service inaugurated a new 17-story building to expand its services. There are also efforts to digitalize its services, highlighting its lifelong connection with the people. Oxford University language, history and literature researcher Girma Getaun reminisced about his childhood association with the Ethiopian Archives and Library Service. Although Girma has left Ethiopia several years ago, he explained his continued reliance on the resources of the Ethiopian Archives and Library Service, acknowledging its unwavering role in nurturing his journey of seeking knowledge. Emirates University biology professor Shibru Tedla emphasized the Ethiopian Archives and Library Service's immense value as a knowledge repository for researchers and young people. The professor urged expanding accessibility by collecting archives and documents from across Ethiopia. The classic institution has also been preserving diverse heritages in the country, including in the music sector. Ethiopian Music Sector Association President Dawit Yifro highlighted the Ethiopian Archives and Library Service's critical role in documenting and preserving Ethiopia's artistic heritage, including contemporary music, for future generations and research. Priest Fekade Bishau, a writer dedicated to transmitting indigenous knowledge to generations, commended that Ethiopian Archives and Library Service for safeguarding diverse national resources that will certainly enrich future generations. Similarly, Islamic Manuscripts Guide Abdurrasi Haj Muhammad Amin lauded the Ethiopian Archives and Library Service for its dedication to documenting Islamic historical heritages. Abdurrasi emphasized the importance of ongoing efforts to digitalize these resources to ensure wider accessibility. The institution's anniversary not only commemorates its past achievements, but also underscores commitment to expanding access and safeguarding diverse knowledge for future generations. The new building symbolizes this ongoing mission, ensuring that this vital institution continues to serve as a beacon of knowledge and cultural heritage for Ethiopia.
A 30% Polish medical team has arrived in Addis Ababa to provide free medical care to Ethiopians for the next 10 days. The team is comprised of medical professionals of various specialties, including obstetrician gynecologists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, and anesthesiologists. Members of the medical team are expected to provide their medical services in Addis Ababa at the Anbessa Specialized Hospital, Armed Forces Comprehensive Specialized Hospital, and will travel to Arba Minch. It was learned that it's been 3 years now since the team began traveling to Ethiopia annually to provide free medical services. As we proceed to news beyond borders, Kenya Medical Research Institute research is underway to create a mobile phone application which uses artificial intelligence to diagnose tuberculosis and other respiratory diseases. The aim is to create software which can differentiate between the two and make a mobile phone application which can accurately recognize a cough connected to TB and other serious diseases. Natural or forced coughs are collected using 3 microphones, including a cheap version, a high-definition one, and a microphone on a smartphone. The results are sent to the University of Washington, which puts them through an existing computer software system called RaceNet 18. Niduba, the principal researcher, explains that this software kind of uses artificial intelligence, and what it does is it tries to analyze the coughs, we call them the cough spectrograms, and then it regresses them. The WHO says the application must be at least 90% accurate in recognizing a TB infection, and it must be at least 80% accurate at detecting if no infection exists. Niduba's trials so far have shown 80% accuracy at detecting TB and 70% accuracy for detecting there is no TB, as African News reported it. West Africa's regional bloc known as ECOWAS has lifted travel, commercial and economic sanctions imposed on Niger that were aimed at reversing the coup staged in the country last year. ECOWAS senior official announced that the sanctions will be lifted with immediate effect that aim to address existential threats facing the region, as well as implore 3 junta-led nations that have quit the bloc to rescind their decision. Senior official added that the lifting of the sanctions on Niger is on purely humanitarian grounds to ease the suffering caused as a result, Toure told reporters. There are targeted individual sanctions as well as political sanctions that remain in force. The summit of the 15-nation regional economic bloc known as ECOWAS in Nigeria's capital Abuja comes at a critical time when the 49-year-old bloc's future is threatened as it struggles with possible disintegration and a recent surge in coups fueled by discontent over the performance of elected governments whose citizens barely benefit from mineral resources, as African News reported it. That's all the news we have for today. I am Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching and stay tuned with the rest of AMECO programs.